Hey folks, we are here today in Millstone in Hendersonville, Tennessee. We're going to be taking a very special walkthrough of this beautiful Valleybrook floor plan by Pulte. This home is actually going to be closed on in about a week and a half by my clients. We started the process by choosing the lot a little under a year ago, and then the actual construction didn't get started until about 7 months ago. But we are finishing up here. There's only maybe one or two little things that still need to be taken care of, which I will point out as we walk through this home. But on that note, my name is Darren A. Wilson. I'm a realtor here in the greater Nashville, Tennessee area. Let's go ahead and take a walkthrough of this beautiful Valleybrook floor plan by Pulte right here in Millstone in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Let's go. Okay, so here we are out in front of the house, and I'm excited to show you what the back part of the lot looks like and the incredible view that they have. They were really fortunate to be able to grab this one when they did. It was about a year ago that happened. You're looking at the elevation DS07, which is one of two different elevations that they have for the Valleybrook. It does feature this nice front porch area. The other one has more of sort of an awning over the front door, and that's pretty much it. I also really love the color schemes that they chose. As you can see, this beautiful green and also this mustard yellow front door. From what I understand, it wasn't necessarily a source of contention, but it was a bit of a source of conjecture between the two of them, whether they were going to go for that mustard yellow. I'm glad they did. You know, when you buy a home like this from a builder like Pulte, you're sort of choosing from a menu of options, right? You can choose your lot, you have to choose your floor plan, and then your colors on the outside and the exterior. What are your design options going to look like? What kind of structural options are you going to choose? And there's only so much that you can sort of do, right? I mean, there's a lot you can do, don't get me wrong, but they are both very creative people, and they wanted to make this place something that was unique to them as much as they could. And I really appreciate the choices that they made. And we'll actually talk about some of the design options in the kitchen and sort of elsewhere and what they're going to do with those later on. But as you can see, we are in this front full bath here. Now there's an option for this one. It can either be a half bath or a full. They opted for the full. And there is a bedroom slash flex room that's right next to it that they're actually going to be utilizing as an office. And there was a little special thing that the builder was able to add for my clients. We worked with a really great builder here. His name is Gunner. He works on site at Millstone. And I got to say, throughout the process, I've worked with him a couple of times now with different clients. He has never turned down a request. Now that doesn't mean that he's going to be able to do, everything when it comes to the home in sort of a structural way, especially with placing outlets and things like that. But when it came to the repairs, the inspection period, and all that kind of stuff, we had a really great experience with Gunner and everybody at Pulte on both my recent closings here. Now you'll notice there is an outlet down here in the closet because my client is actually going to kind of put his desk in there and sort of work out of that closet area. And so Gunner was kind enough to be able to add that in there. We got there, early enough in the process during the pre-drywall period where he was able to make that happen. That's not normally there. So, these things don't always work out, but fortunately that one did, and we were able to make that happen, which is really great. This room here, as you can see, this is going to be sort of, I think, like a media room for them, but it's also would be great as a sort of a formal dining room or a study or however it is that might make sense for you. A lot of different things that you can do with this room right here. And I love the windows, the light coming in there, the French doors as well. You don't have to have those. You can have it just be open, so you're just walking right in. But they chose the French doors. I really like the way that looks there. Now coming into the kitchen, as you can see, I really love the colors of the cabinets, and you'll notice the design options for the lighting, and then also for like the knobs and whatnot on the cabinetry. These are sort of the most basic options you can choose. However, this is one of the things that aftermarket my clients are actually going to be changing on their own, right? So they're going to put in their own lights, they're going to put in their own knobs and handles on those drawers over there because as many options as they had, like I said, they really wanted to make this place their own, and some of that is going to happen actually once the home is closed and it's theirs, and they'll take care of some of that stuff themselves, which is always an option for you as well. Now some people don't want that. Some people just want everything done They want to move in and they want that to be that. And that's a completely respectable way to do it. There are a plethora of options for you to choose from when it comes to the designs, when it comes to the structural options and whatnot. So there's plenty to choose from. Don't feel like you're not going to have enough. But like I said, my clients, they're very creative people. They're very unique and wanting something very special to them. And so they're going to take care of some of the stuff after the fact once the home is actually closed. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the process of what it's like to get a home built from scratch and going through that entire process. So my clients were very fortunate, like I said, to get this lot. They also got a really great deal with their earnest money and whatnot for this lot. A little under a year ago that they actually got it under contract. Now, it does not take a full year to build a home like this. It actually only takes 7 months. However, because they wanted to move after their kids were out of school, that the school year was complete, we were able to get the building delayed by several months. So we kind of sat around after a lot of the contract stuff was figured out, and I'll talk a little bit about that too for what happened with my clients, because they had kind of a special situation. But we just kind of sat around for several months and really not much was happening until they actually started the building process some 5 months later, roughly. So not every build is going to be like that, and certainly you don't have to build from scratch. If you prefer, they do have quick move-ins that are available. We also call them inventory homes or spec homes, but in the case of my clients, they wanted to choose out their options. They weren't in a huge rush, and so they went the to-be-built route. Now, let's talk a little bit about the financing situation that my clients used, which is a little bit outside of the box. And I have to say, if there's one criticism that I have of Pulte, it's that when somebody does something outside of the normal way of doing business with them, such as either using cash to purchase a home or using Pulte mortgage to purchase a home, they're not super well equipped to handle that. I'm going to get back to that in just a second, but since we're going outside, I want to sort of remark on this lot and the view that's out back here. Now, right now, there are several homes that need to be built right there, right? Pulte is building down there. I don't know if you can tell, that's a hill right there that goes down in the back. Pulte and Show Brothers are building over there, but look at this beautiful greenery that you could see in the distance. There is a golf course basically right across the street, right over there as well. This is a really beautiful area. I think they're going to be putting a fence up right there, as you can see. And I think ultimately, because they're going to be adding a jacuzzi to this back here, as well as potentially a shed maybe on the side of the house, they're going to be extending their porch area. I think, they haven't settled whether they're going to do it right here yet, or whether they're going to do it underneath that window on the side of the home, and they'll be able to have a spot for the jacuzzi. But that's one of the things that they are trying to figure out right now. There's different things you can do. You gotta take some things into account when you do that before you actually go ahead on a lot. So all those details and whatnot are getting sort of worked out, but I'm excited to see which way they end up going with that. But anyways, getting back to the financing situation that I was talking about, clients ended up using something called a collateral swap from their previous home. Now, not everybody's going to be able to do this. They were fortunate enough to work on their previous home with a private lender, and they were able to basically take the equity that they had in that home and transfer it over to the purchase of this home. Now, that is a complicated process. You most likely aren't going to be able to do that with your average mortgage. Okay, again, this was a private lender that they'd worked with. And this is a process that, even though Pulte does hundreds of closings, a year, they hadn't done this before, which I was surprised at, that they'd never encountered this before. And there was a lot of reminding people, particularly at PGP Title, just about sort of like what was going on with the process. Now, they took care of it. We got it done. However, my clients did hire their own private lawyer who helped sort of shepherd this whole thing to make sure there wasn't any problems, right? Because they're selling one home, they're buying another, they're doing a collateral swap, and if you haven't been through the process before, it is quite complicated. Fortunately, we got it taken care of, and the lawyer that assisted us in that situation did a great job, and I would absolutely work with her again based on that. Now, speaking of working with other people who are sort of on your side throughout this process, because remember, the builders, there are partners in this whole thing, but at the same time, they're the other party, right? We want people who are on our side, and somebody who's on our side is going to be the inspector. And we just had like the best inspector. I've used him before. I will be using him again, and he is so thorough and so willing to go the extra mile. We just got such incredible information and feedback from him that we were able to take to the builder and have lots of things touched up around the house. There's always going to be a lot of little things, okay? Most of them are going to be cosmetic, and honestly, half the stuff, if not more, was probably going to be taken care of by the builder anyways, but you want to have it all documented during that inspection period, because you're just going to feel a lot more secure once you've gotten that inspection report. You go through it yourself, you go through it with the builder, you confirm every single thing. And this is where I said earlier, Gunnar, who is the builder here, he went through every single line item on that inspection report and said, this is what we're doing about this, this is what we're doing about that, this is what we're doing about this, this is what we're doing about that. And that can really put your nerves at ease if you're concerned about anything not being taken care of. You're buying a new home, folks. This is a new home. It should be new. It should be perfect, okay? And we've been so fortunate because we've never had a request denied. Both my clients who have closed here recently have had things that, there was one or two things that they weren't able to get done while the home was still being closed, and what they ended up doing was helping with some of that stuff after the close. Now, you got to get that stuff in writing and identified ahead of time, but they've been really good about that. One of those things, actually for another client, was some of the sod not taking. Okay, now that can be an issue sometimes, but fortunately, the vendor that they work with, that Pulte works with to do the sod, they have their own guarantees and periods of time. I think it's 2 weeks. Each time they come out, they will replace the sod if it's not taking, and you do have some guarantees there as far as getting that taken care of so that people don't just disappear. And also keep in mind that you do have a 10-year warranty. Okay, so it's a phased warranty with Pulte. There's going to be certain things, pretty much everything in the house is covered in that first year, and then you start with all the stuff behind the walls for the second year, and then you have a 5-year and then a 10-year structural warranty as well. So you're going to be dealing with a different team at that point, right after the close. You're not going to be working with Pulte the builder. You might see him once in a while. He's in the neighborhood, right? But the warranty team really sort of takes over at that point if there's anything left. Now, within that first year of the contract, because it does cover pretty much everything at the home, most people wait to the end of that first year before they actually have another inspection done on the home, and they basically take that inspection report to the warranty team at Pulte, or wherever you're at if you're buying a house somewhere else, and they have them go over that so that they take care of everything on that list. Now, sometimes, this is where it's important to look at reviews online of the different warranty teams and whatnot. As you can see, this thing right here, that wasn't finished. That got finished before close. That's a pretty easy thing to point out. But, that happens. But anyways, back to the warranty team. This is really where it's really important to look at reviews of warranties after the home has actually closed, because with some builders, they have a warranty team, but sometimes they don't always answer, sometimes they don't always show up. So make sure you do your due diligence, and it can sometimes vary, not just from state to state or city to city, but even just from site to site, right? You're going to have different teams working different places, and that's true of both the sales team, the builders themselves, and the warranty team. So just kind of keep that in mind. You do have regional people, you have people on sort of different levels here at Pulte, but just kind of keep that stuff in mind when you are interested in purchasing a new construction home. Make sure you research that and talk to your agent about it ahead of time. And in fact, if you are interested in purchasing a new construction home, starting that process, please, even if you don't call me, get some representation to represent you throughout this process. It's more complicated than you think, and those builder contracts are written by a team of 1,000 lawyers who have the company's interest in mind and not yours. Okay. Now, again, the sales teams that we work with, the builder teams, they're really great people and they're our partners in this whole thing. But at the end of the day, they don't work for you. Okay. They work for the builder. So don't forget that. And if something like compensation is an issue in your mind, just understand that the builders are really good at compensating buyer agents. They understand the value that we bring to the process. I think, and I've found in general, that builders feel better when there's an agent involved on the other side, because it sort of takes some of the pressure off of them to have to communicate everything directly to you, because then that becomes my job. And also, I'm there to advocate for you. I have relationships with these people and have worked hard to cultivate that over several years. So it's worth it for you to have representation. Again, even if it's not me, just get somebody in your corner who's there fighting for you along the way. If you would like to contact me, my contact information is available below down in the description. I'm also going to post it up here on the screen again in just a second. But also, if you have any interest in learning some more about the new construction process in general, you can check out my free guide right here. It's the top 5 mistakes all buyers should avoid when buying new construction. Even if you've been through the process before, or if you haven't, I think it's worth it for you to check out what's in here. It will be worth it. So, what did you guys think of the home? Let my clients know down below in the comments. Make sure you wish them a congratulations, guys. Congratulations on your brand new beautiful home here in Millstone. I think you guys are going to love it. I think this is perfect for you, and you've worked really hard to get here, so congratulations and welcome to the neighborhood. My name's Darren A. Wilson. I'm a realtor here in the greater Nashville, Tennessee area. If you have any questions or you're curious about the new home construction process, you can contact me right here or down below in the description as well. If you want to watch another video today, you can check out this one right here, which is another walkthrough that I did here at Millstone of a Moore Park, also by Pulte. I will see you guys next time. Bye now.